Hello and welcome back to Learn It from a Layman. I am Carl Christensen, and the crew is all off and busy right now, so you get me. And I am going to talk to you today about making money, which I think is something that we all strive to do. For as much as it sounds, like selfish and, just kind of icky to be focused on money. The reality is all of us, that's a big part of our lives, and it's an important part of our lives. You can't, if you don't have money, you can't do the important parts of taking care of your loved ones and taking care of yourself. So can't do all of the important parts, at least. So we're going to talk about a few basic concepts behind making money. Sometimes we talk about our credentials. I'm a layman. You guys know that. For those of you that have been listening to the podcast for a while, I'm not personally wealthy, but I'm also not, struggling for money. Where I'm in a healthy place, and so I'm got some insights of ways that I both have been able to do that for myself, and how I see other people and those that have big success in business, how they've done that. So we're going to talk about some layman concepts behind how you can make money, and then we're not going to talk necessarily. I will mention some of the very basic, self-help, true principles behind being confident, and those are important in making money. But for the sake of this podcast right now, we're going to talk specifically about just a few conceptual ideas on how to make money. Because I'm sure you've all looked, if you clicked on this podcast, basics of making money or how to make money, you're thinking, oh, okay, are we talking drop shipping or, freelance, whatever, affiliate marketing, some pyramid scheme that the Learn It from Layman guys are trying to sell to you? None of the above. But you've heard of those, and you've probably looked for, those articles for how to do some type of side hustle, and maybe you have a successful one going and maybe you don't. But the reality is you can always take stock of where you're at financially and evaluate if you need to, increase your income. And here's some of the ways that I think that we need to structurally think about making money. One of the best ways over the millennia to make money, or to really get in the place of affluence, is by solving a real world problem. So that's number one, right? Solve a problem. You can see that obviously in the real world with countless billionaires out there, right? What did Jeff Bezos do? For those of you that don't know, Jeff Bezos is the CEO of Amazon, right? He was fundamental in getting Amazon launched and getting it to the point where it's at, where it sells all the things, and all the people buy all the things on Amazon. So help solve a problem, right? Bill Gates, helped solve the problem. I'm sure some of you that have experience with Microsoft products say he caused a problem, but he solved a problem and how to, make computers more usable by the masses. And so, there are countless instances of that in among the billionaires. But that's not just true about the billionaires, right? That's true about anyone that's out there doing a small business that is trying to once again come up with a problem that needs solving and that they can solve it. So it doesn't just have to be on a grand scale. Think about in your personal life. So the way that you find this and make it part of your solution for your current financial issues is, what are the problems you're running into in your day-to-day life that other people also run into? Is there a solution that you could or should be using? And if so, is there a better way that you can, implement a solution that you could sell, right? Is there some software that you could write? Is there some tool that you could create? Is there some service that you could provide that isn't currently filling the needs that exist. Those are the way that you can create value. And once you've created value, that's where you have the ability to turn that into financial gain. So that's solving a problem. That's number one. Number two is very similar to that, but it's building something useful, right? Even if you aren't solving a problem per se, if you're just doing something, taking a different take on what already exists, that's going to get you value. Once again, that's going to be able to create something for you that is something that you can market, something that you can sell. And as soon as you're able to sell a product to the masses, you're able to take a financial gain, put a financial stake in, and then get a gain out of it. So if you're building something useful, you're going to be able to, there are new desks, new tables. Maybe you have a particular type of artwork that you do. You're going to create or build something that other people already see value in, that maybe they're currently investing their dollars in elsewhere. And you're not necessarily reinventing the wheel, but you are adding, a new version of that thing to the market, and that's going to get you a piece of the pie if you do it correctly, right? So these concepts aren't the whole picture, right? There's a lot else that goes into making money as far as marketing and sales and just literally hard work, finding a business model that works. Lots of things that I'm sure that they teach you in business school. If you're going to get a business degree, or you're going to go out there and actually start a company, you need to have all of these things under consideration. But as a layman sitting at home right now, all of those things are way out in the future. What you can do right now is start looking at what is something I can build. What's the problem can I solve, number one, or number two, if I can't come up with something that I can solve that I'm going to create value with, is there something that I can build that I'm good at building, that I'm familiar with, and I just want to tweak it a little bit, and then I can sell it on Etsy, I can sell it on YouTube, I can sell it on Amazon, and then I can go from there. As it grows, you can grow organically with it, right? For those of you that have been listening to the podcast for a long time, we had my cousin, Michelle Christensen, on. It's not been quite a year ago, and she did a similar type thing with her artwork, and then it turned into kind of a fashion company, a design company for her, and she grew organically as the company grew, and that's a great way to do it, right? It minimizes your risk, and it gives you the potential to grow and make money, and really be able to get to the point where you're very comfortable with the financial position that you're in. So build something useful, number two. Three, find where the money is and join. If there's money being made in the financial sector, if you know that people that work at banks make a lot of money, or people that are investment portfolio managers or whatever, they're making a lot of money, and you're complaining about your job, well, why not make your job their job, right? Quit your job. Go get whatever certification or education necessary to get their job. Because if they're making a lot of money, well, go join them. So increase your skill set, and hopefully Learn It From a Layman podcast are a launching point. Obviously not the whole story, but they're a launching point for those of you that are trying to do that. You're trying to think, I need more help with computer coding, or what does that even look like? How do I get started? We've had podcasts on that. What does it look like to get into the medical field? We've had podcasts on that. There are lots of different ways that you can get dip your toe in. If you want to make money on it, though, dipping your toe in is insufficient, right? That's what listening to a podcast is. It's dipping your toe in, deciding whether or not that really is something that you'd be interested in. Once you're ready to financially make that jump, you've got to jump in. You've got to move forward and be a hard worker, be ambitious, and go for it. That's your Elon Musk strategy, right? He was doing lots of different jobs, but what has made him the billionaire that he is just hard work. and once again, I'm sure many of you have a negative concept of Elon Musk, regardless of what your concept of Elon Musk is. The bank's concept of Elon Musk is very positive. He has a lot of money. And so he worked really hard and in an area where he saw a lot of money. And so between the companies that he's created, he's been able to do that. Steve Ballmer is another good example. If you don't know who Steve Ballmer is, Steve Ballmer was the CEO of Microsoft after Bill Gates. And if you haven't watched clips of Steve Ballmer before at Microsoft developers conferences, I encourage you now to pause this podcast, Google Steve Ballmer developers, and just dive down that rabbit hole. It's worth your time. Truly wonderful. And if a bit nerdy, but whatever. Steve Ballmer, let's just say he was a passionate individual. and so that, that's part of jumping with both feet as well. If you're going to be a half-hearted, not fully invested, investment advisor, if you're going to be a lawyer, but you're not going to do it very well, you're going to limit your financial potential by not investing yourself. So make that a priority to really, jump in with both feet, and be a hard worker, have ambition. And this is what we're talking about in this podcast. There are other things at stake and other things in play in life, right? This is all calculus we're talking about. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of curves that you've got to figure out the area underneath, as far as figuring out what decisions and what path you're going to take in your life. But financially, and again, as I started the podcast, it does matter, right? You know it matters. You're listening to this podcast. Your loved ones know this matters when you can't pay the bill. You've got to make that important. You've got to jump in with both feet, and so find where the money is. Join that. Do that thing. So number 1, solve a problem. Number 2, build something useful. Number 3, find where the money is and jump in. And number 4, make friends. This is an important element as well, as far as making sure that you are out there socially, that you are able to reach out to people and find out who is going to help you in life, who you get along with well, who has potential to help you, and hopefully eventually you're able to help them as well. But once again, this is about leveraging your network to your financial gain. And so find a network that can help you, that can give you a leg up, that isn't constantly dragging you down financially. So go ahead and you hear about, MIT and Harvard and all these Ivy League schools. The education that they get there is great, top notch. But the reason that they all come out uber wealthy isn't really just the education. It's the alumni network, right? It's the fellow students that they have there. It's the financial resources that they have available to them there to do the things like solve problems and build useful things. So having that network, having that structure on which you can build, the social structure, the institutional structure that friends and social networks give you is key in helping yourself financially. So look around yourself. Do you have a social structure that you're able to leverage and move forward with? And if not, go out there and be social. I'm not telling you to leave your current friends, but go out there and find a group. Maybe it's a church, maybe it's in the community, maybe it's who knows where you're going to find these people. But go out there and find the community of people that are going to be able to give you a leg up financially if you're currently needing to move forward, right? And see how your skill set fits in with the people that you know, and see what they need and what you can do for them, and what moves they're trying to make, and find the ones that are ambitious and also doing things, and join, become friends with them, and that's going to help you a lot. So number 5, last one, this is a short podcast, is invest. Don't don't get in debt. If you're in debt and listening to this podcast, start figuring out how you're going to get out of debt and stop adding to your debt. If you think that's not possible, evaluate we've had budget episodes here before. Look up other budget information. Figure out a way to stop getting in debt. I know it can be difficult, but it's worth figuring out because it's really hard to get a leg up financially if you keep digging yourself deeper. So find some type of financial tools that you need to stop getting in debt, rein in your spending, get yourself to the point where you are at least break even, hopefully paying off debt, and then start investing. You want money working for you. And if you're sitting here and you don't have a significant amount of debt, invest. Don't let your money sit idle. If you're not sitting idle, right? If we're talking about different ways to make money, you shouldn't let your money sit idle either. So turn that into more money and let someone else turn it into more money for you. So those are the 5 ways. So the final thing I'll sign off the podcast here is, these truisms and these kind of trite little sayings about how to make money. And they actually do matter and they are important to say. So you're going to fail in some of your ventures. Okay, don't worry about it. Not everything's meant to be. Just move on to the next one. Success doesn't have to look like a millionaire. Just get to the point where you're comfortable, where you can help yourself, help your loved ones, where you're able to do some things. Easy money is a thing. And so if you're looking around sometimes and you're looking at other people make easy money, that can be painful. Don't worry about that. That might not be you. Cool. That doesn't matter. It's not a common thing to make easy money. What's more common is hard-earned money. So go earn it. And believe in yourself. Don't undersell yourself. That's a huge thing. A lot of people sitting around in jobs where you're underselling yourself. Don't undersell yourself. You're the best value you've got. So have value in yourself, and that will, when you implement these other things, it's going to make a big difference. So hopefully that's helpful. I hope that those of you that are in need of financial help are able to get the help you need, and that we're all able to solve some problems out there, because that's how we create value in the economy, and that's how we help create value for ourselves. So join us for the next podcast. We're going to talk about education and how to become a teacher, which is the exact opposite of how to make money. And we'll talk to you then.